Hey everybody, so we are looking at this problem, move zeros. Given an integer array nums, move all zeros to the end while maintaining the relative order of the non-zero elements. What does that mean? Let's say I have nums like this. I need to move all zeros to the end and all non-zeros to the beginning, maintaining the order of non-zero elements, which means I would get something like this 0 at the end, and all the non zeros are in their order of 1, 3, and 12, 1, 3, and 12. We also need to solve this problem in place. One naive approach to solving this problem, if the note was not given, would be to create a new array over here. Every time we see a non zero element, we push it here, we push it here, we push it here, and the rest of the space of this array, of length 5 in this case, would be 0 and 0. But since we are supposed to do it in place, we are not supposed to copy this array. We need to take a different approach, and that would be using two pointers. So let's take the similar example 0, 1, 0, 3, and 12. Let's keep a pointer over here called left. Let's keep a pointer on the same element. Let's call it right. Every time we see a non zero element, we can swap it to the left position. So right now, this right is at 0. This right would move forward in every iteration, and this left would stay as long as this value does not become a non-zero. So in the first iteration, right is on 0. This is not a non-zero element, so we would do nothing. This right would move forward by 1. So we are at element 1. When we are at this place, when we have a non-zero on right, we can blindly swap with the element on the left, because we know that since we already passed through that element cannot be a non-zero. We can say this array becomes 1, 0, 0, 3, and 12. Left, now this time we have processed element over here, so we can move left by 1, and this right can also move by 1 because processing element over here is done. We already moved the non-zero to a different place, so the right can now move forward. So right would be over here. In this case, we are at 0. We don't need to worry about that. The right moves forward by 1 again. We are at a non-zero. We are basically looking for non-zeros and replacing at the leftmost position. So after this iteration, the array would become something like 1, 3, 0, and 0 and 12. This 0 moved to this place. In this question, we don't have to maintain the relative order of zeros. They are all the same, so we don't have to worry about the fact that they are swapped. Now, the left comes over here. The right can now move to this location. Now we are at the end. We have a non-zero element. We can swap it with 0. So 1, 3, 12, 0, and 0, and this would be our solution. So let's try to code this algorithm. I am here in the code editor. I have this function move zeros, which takes input nums. The first thing I need is I need a left pointer pointing to 0. I need a right pointer which traverses through the entire array. So I can say for I right in range length of nums. This way we can have a pointer from 0 to -1, the length of nums -1. If at any point we encounter a non-zero, which means for nums right not equals to 0, it's a non-zero. In that case, we perform the swap operation equals to nums right and nums left. Once we are done with the swap, we need to move left forward. So left plus equals to 1 and right would anyways move forward because of the for loop. Once we are done, we don't have to return anything. We can modify nums and that should be our solution. Let's run this code. Let's submit it. We have a solution.